Just get a Tojiro. That seems to be the mantra I always hear. I'm Greg with Never a Dull Moment, and I spend a lot of time in knife forums. So it's always interesting to me when a newbie comes into the forums, they're anxious to get their first Japanese knife, and where do they spend the money? Like, what do they buy? What do they buy? So I got used to hearing this mantra in Japanese knife forums and knife forums in general. When it comes to culinary knives, I kept hearing the phrase, just buy a Tojiro. Well, I've never owned a Tojiro. I have a lot of knives, varying prices, varying steels. So I decided to reach out and talk to a friend, Ryan Swanson of District Cutlery. He's in DC and he sells all kinds of knives and he sharpens all kinds of knives. He sells Tojiro and he's a big fan, and he said to me, Greg, they're amazing price and they always are sharp out of the box. And we're going to put that theory to the test. So we have a Tojiro. It's unboxed. I'm going to do that for you now. It hasn't been unboxed. I'm sorry. It's still in the box.
I was like, oh, you pulled it out.
And you are going to see. I mean, it is literally from.
There we go, folks. Bubble wrap.
Yeah, bubble wrap and everything. So this is the DP series, which I am told is their most popular series. This is their VG10. And this is their 210 millimeter chef knife. So let's just go ahead and take a look. So this knife is under $100. I think it was $86. I don't remember if it was 98 or 86, but it's under $100.
Okay.
VG10 is a really good steel. I went ahead and got out some more examples of VG10. Shun is a company that a lot of people, when they first get in the knives, Japanese knives to get into. This is the Enzo. This is a better Shun. The Shun Premier line. This is one of the more inexpensive lines. So VG10 is common, and you'll actually find that a lot of the great blacksmiths, even though they work in different steels, a lot of them use VG10. You will notice with this knife, it has the Western handle. It is a full tang.
What is the white on the...
So what does that say? That says good design.
Hold on. Can't even focus. There we go.
So I'm sure that's some sticker that we'll remove at some other point.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
So that is not a permanent part of the knife. And
okay.
All right. So let's just go ahead and take a look at the thickness of the spine. This is definitely a thin knife.
Yeah. All the way down.
I will point out that even though it's a full tang, that the logo is colored on. Some of them, the kanji is stamped in it. So this is painted on.
Or not to, there we go. There you go, folks. Okay, now what?
I will tell you that this is real wood. Some people would say that it has a plastic feel. I know that there is a plastic coating on it to protect the wood, but it is a real wood feel. Because it's full tang, the weight's a little bit more in the handle, but this is a lightweight knife. So this is your all-purpose knife, and you'll notice that there's very little rocker, but it has rocker. Okay, so if you want to do the rocking technique with this, you can. This is going to lend itself towards chopping as well as rocking. So let's get into the idea that people say just buy a Tojiro. It's under $100. Good quality steel. Good thickness. One of the points that I heard someone say, and it was Kevin Kent of Knifewear, he said it in his movie Spring Hammer. He goes, you know, they have a plain look to it, and they're the kind of knife that doesn't go missing in the professional kitchen. You know, and we've definitely heard the stories of people taking their high-end knives to work and they don't go home with them, which is always sad. So if we got a good performing knife under $100, something that would be very hard to lose, and if we lost it would be very inexpensive to replace, that's a good knife. So Ryan Swanson said it comes really sharp. We're going to find out.
Let's do that.
I have heard people say the fit and finish. I'm going to get my wife to get in the camera real quick. Just run your thumb from the wood to the metal and see if you
focus on that first.
See if it is flush to you or if it bothers you.
I mean, there is it's a slight bump or ridge. It's not smooth. It's not bad. I mean, I don't know. If I used it all the time, I'm not sure.
I don't know that I would notice it, being that I would be a pinch grip.
Yeah.
I don't know that you would know. If you go looking for it, I think you'll see it. I think an explanation for that could be the swelling and contraction of the wood. And that has to do with the time of the year. Okay, so as per our tradition in reviewing a knife, this is a great knife. It's a great shape. Looking at it in comparison to the Soroshin, very similar. Okay, same size, same thickness.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so it doesn't, even though the Shun came with all this fancy Damascus, kind of a little 1 or 2 layers in there. This Magaki finish is very simple. Very clean, very nice.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and get our best tester out. Let's see, if you're going to buy a knife, let's see how it's going to come.
Is that angle okay?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
So, per Ryan Swanson's word, we have a very sharp knife. So let's go ahead and do this again.
Okay.
Listen, VG10, like I said, I mean, a lot of blacksmiths, a lot of the top blacksmiths work with VG10. So don't feel like you've gotten like a subpar steel or something like that. VG10 is a stainless steel. You're not going to have the problem with oxidation. You're going to be able to cut up acidic items and walk away. I'm making sure it's a different part of the knife.
Holy crap.
Okay.
Well, okay. Well, there's that.
Ryan Swanson said these knives are sharp out of the box. So we have a very sharp knife out of the box under $100.
Should come with Band-Aids, but it doesn't.
I will say, okay, just to mention a couple other things. So Tojiro is out of Tsubame, Sanjo, Japan. Tsubame City, Sanjo City are side by side. There's an area that overlaps. They have 2 factories. One factory they don't really let anybody in. It's just they have some works going on in there. I get it. You're making amazing knives. Most of these knives are factory made, meaning that an entire large team works on them. They have a sheet of metal. They cut a stamp blank out of the metal. They go through a series of, machines cut them out. Machines press the handle on. Machines sharpen them. But a lot of people touch these knives to get them to you. Not to be confused with the fact that Tojiro does make some handmade knives. So I do want you to know that there are inexpensive Tojiro. There are multiple lines on Tojiro. Okay. And they even have their like Atler handmade line. So you can get, if you want to get a $300+ knife with Tojiro, it is possible. But like 90% of their business is going to be these factory made knives.
Right in here, this is again the main factory Tojiro. What they do here is they have a piece of steel, thin piece of steel. They cut out a blank, what they call a blank, which is basically like a cookie, but it's exactly the shape of a knife. And then all the processes they're going to do in here after they've heat treated it over in the other building, so they've made the steel hard, and then they've annealed it to take the internal pressures out of the steel. And over here, what they're going to do is they're going to grind the sides off to make it pointy, to make it sharp. They're going to polish the sides of the blade. They're going to affix a handle. Shine it, clean up the handle, write their name on it. And voila, we have a knife. It's the same process the blacksmiths use, except without all of the hard work of actually hammering stuff and working with the steel. They're just punching a cookie out. Car. It's like a street hockey game. It's a street hockey game. You gotta wait. Parking or just being polite. You gotta draw a line somewhere. And at our shop, we refer to knives like this as factory-made knives. We think of handmade knives like the ones where a blacksmith's actually from a small piece of steel with a hammer, laminated steel together and hammered the knife into a shape. Like, he's done all the work by hand, whereas most of the work here is done by machinists. They're great knives, they just don't have the same romance, the same je ne sais quoi of a handmade knife. But yeah, Tojiro knives are sound. Chefs love them because they work like crazy. You don't have to spend a mint for them. And since they're kind of, well, they're kind of plain looking. They're maybe less desirable than some of the really beautiful handmade ones, so they don't tend to go missing at work. This is Kamoi-san. He's the head of international sales. So he basically gets to travel around to Europe, North America, and Australia, New Zealand. I like him because he likes to drink and eat good food.
So it has the quietness that my wife and I look for. You can see the push. I mean, I'm sorry, Ryan Swanson had it right that I'm literally like curving out of the box. Why? I gotta say wow. I have to say wow. I'm sorry, like.
No problem.
No problem.
Oh, you know what you're gonna do first? No.
Am I gonna try?
Why not?
Well, okay, so we have this saying around here that these baby tomatoes are like, they're just difficult.
Because the skin's so thick.
The skin is thick and there's no gravity, right? I mean, there's nothing holding this thing.
But I'm like, well, why not? Now's the time I say try it. Normally I'm like, no. Because that skin just is so thick.
Yeah, the skin is just thick.
Might be too thick. Because he's smooth.
You guys, I'm sure you guys can see the skin on here. Don't let my wife get her hand cut by accident.
I'm up here. It like wants to.
Yeah, when you get through the skin, it seems easy.
You're chasing him, but. Okay. Oh, okay. Is anything going to be fun anymore now that you've done that, hun?
Look. So the rocking technique, very easy to do with this knife. I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. I mean, under $100. The saying is true. If you don't have a Japanese knife and you wonder what to get, just get a Tojiro. Hopefully that wasn't a dull moment. That was definitely fun. I'm very much kind of eating my own words because the Tojiro is not something that I wanted to own. Great knife, incredible price. If you don't know what and you want to get into Japanese knives, start there. The Tojiro DP series, VG10, incredible. Awesome. We appreciate your support, checking in with us. Get up, get out, goodbye, Tojiro. God bless. Perfect.